Alrighty, we are back with another round one match in Pro Tour Hellscube 8. This time we have Chai, who is on Orzhov Small Reanimator, against ThatOneGamer, who is on some sort of Teamer Madness deck, maybe? Suppose we shall see. Looks like we cannot see the hands this time, so we'll have to go with what we've got on the boards. And it looks like Chai will be going first. After both rolling 19s, Chai then comes ahead with a 9. So here we've got it. ThatOneGamer rocking a 58 card deck. Very intrigued to see where this goes. Chai going to 6, Gamer staying at 7. Chai goes first with the planes. And shipping the turn over to Gamer. Let's see what we've got here. We've got Planet of the Apes GX coming in tapped. It is a Forest Mountain planet. We've got 2 planes from China for both GTAs. Strong opening move if it can be paired with a creature next turn. Gamer coming in now on their turn 2. We've got the Planet of the Apes. Will we have some sort of blue land to get full color coverage on turn 2? Tapping the Planet of the Apes for the very experimental synthesizer. What are we suspending? 3. Walt Disney's Frozen Head, a very powerful piece for the Reanimator archetype. So that is suspended 3. And then we play Keyword Soup, which will also come in tapped. So Gamer does have full color coverage with across their lands. Chai still only on white, 3 planes, and passing back, it looks like. Gamer now in their upkeep, Walt Disney's Frozen Head going to 2, drawing a card. First main phase. What will it be? Seven cards in hand and 47 cards in deck. I'm wondering what the strategy is here, but I'm excited to find out, that's for sure. Tapping the Keyword Soup. Jace finding a loophole. A 1/1 legendary creature. And we are going to mill both players. So Chai mills Pretending Mox Bearers. That would have been nice to get some color fixing. And Gamer mills an island. Gamer now passing the turn, or no, going to second main. Playing a forest for turn, and now passing the turn, it looks like. Chai playing Monster Rebirth to bring the Mox Bearers back. with that monstrous roll. So it's now a 3-2. Very strong opening now from Chai as we get into turn 4. Chai playing a swamp, finally getting that color fixing down. Tapping 1. To equip the Mox Bears with the Jite, both of them. Now going to combat and swinging in the Mox Bears at ThatOneGamer. If they connect, they'll get the charge counter. Gamer not declaring any blocks and taking 3. Chai now gets a charge counter on the Jites. Can remove 1 to either give equipped creature +2/+2, untap a land, gain 2 life, prevent a creature from blocking, put a 1/1 counter on the creature, or give a creature -1/-1. And Chai will do just that, last one, to kill Jace. Chai now tapping 3, bringing out Obsessive Stitcher and Stitcher Supplier. So they will be milling 3 cards. We got the Ghost from Urborg Uprising, a Plains, and a Path to Graveyard. Now it is back to Gamer's turn. Gamer untapping, skipping the upkeep. Hopefully they didn't forget about Walt Disney's Frozen Head suspended off to the side there. Drawing a card. Oh, there we go. That Frozen Head can team up with basically any other card on the board, including lands. It's a good repeatable source of card draw. Waiting now on Gamer's play. She certainly has a lot to think about. Tapping 1, 2, 3. Bringing layer by layer, the self has become foreign. So that next turn, when that Frozen Head comes down, can animate something, and when something gets animated, she'll get to ponder. Now Chai's turn. Untapping, drawing a card. Is there any targets in the graveyard for the Stitcher Supplier? There is. There's the Ghosts from Urborg Uprising, but that's about it. Going straight to combat instead. No blocks declared. Taking 4. Another counter goes on the Jites. Oh wait, no blocking. Blocking the Stitcher and the Supplier with the layers. But 1 counter still on the Jites for the Mox Bears. China in the second main phase. 2 cards in hand, 5 lands on the field. Decides we're just gonna pass it back. Gamer now gets the Frozen Head out, as long as it resolves. There it goes. Drawing a card. The Frozen Head does work very well with the synthesizer, because you can animate the synthesizer, which will allow it to then attack and potentially die and then trigger without having to do the expensive sacrifice trigger. Tapping 3, we might be doing just that, because we're also tapping the first one, tapping 2. To put 2 1/1 counters on the very experimental synthesizer. Try responding to Disney's activation. What does Chai have in mind here? Tapping up 1 white, 2 white. We've got removal tutorial. We'll be destroying that artifact, and we will also be putting a +1/+1 counter on a creature. Suspended off the very experimental synthesizer, which lands do work for this, is the Gruul Academy. And we put that 1/1 counter on the Obsessive Stitcher and the Stitcher Supplier. So now it is a 2/5. You're tapping the layer by layer. I'm assuming to go to combat. And Chai will just take the 1. But instead of taking 1, we will ninjutsu out the aggressive divination to draw 2 more cards. This is exciting. Chai pointing out that this card, which did come out before the Mutant Ninja Turtles expansion, did essentially predict Sneak. Chai now tapping 2. To use the Obsessive Stitcher's Offspring ability on the Ghost from Urborg Uprising. Don't think they should be able to do this because of the tap ability, but maybe I wasn't paying attention. So now we've got a 1/1 Ghost from Urborg Uprising on the field. Creature cards in Chai's graveyard will have Afterlife 1. Currently, there are no creature cards in Chai's graveyard. But maybe that is about to change. Tapping 3 mana for Butterfly Knife. Looks like we are Ven fusing it so that it has all 3 modes. So it's a 1/1 with flying, food text, and when it dies, you draw a card. It can also equip or reconfigure, in this case, onto something else, which is what we're doing. We're putting it onto the Ghost from Urborg Uprising. So that will be a 2/2 with flying, food text, and when it dies, draw a card. Now going to combat, swinging in with everything. That's going to be 7 damage. That'll have Gamer's life total. Gamer's got to do something big to come back here, but being short on lands is a big disadvantage, even if the cards in hand and in deck are much higher. The GTAs once again get a counter. We're at 2 counters now. It's hard to see with the GTAs behind the Mox Bearers, but you got to keep an eye out on those 2 counters. Those can be very, very strong. When the divination untaps, that is when you draw the cards, and that is what just happened now. So now a fuller hand, 9 whole cards in hand against Chai's 1. Can Gamer get some advantage and take this game back? A lot to think about with those 9 cards in hand. Hopefully there is at least a land card in those 9, and maybe we can see something a little bit more expensive come out. Yes, we do see the forest come down. That's having 1, 2, 3. What do we got? We've got the layer by layer back again. Now tapping 1 to animate, I guess, itself, or maybe a land. We've got the frozen head. Well, maybe not. Passing the turn instead, maybe realizing that that can happen at instant speed. Chai now, coming in, drawing a card. 2 cards in hand for Chai, better hope they're good ones. It seems like Chai is closer to ending this game than Gamer is. Jite making layer by layer unblockable. And Gamer's gonna go ahead and concede there. That should bring us into game 2, I think. So I think both Jites really was the star of that last game. Just so versatile. And we will see, so far no one has unlocked their sideboard. ThatOneGamer, oh, they're doing so now. Maybe they'll take out some of those extra cards. When they loaded in, I saw only 5 cards in sideboard and I was a little confused, but then seeing the large deck size, that makes sense, but it brings more questions with it as well. So we will see what changes are made. Maybe Gamer will take out some of the more slow cards, maybe make sure their lands are set up all right so that they have the right number. And here we go. Nope, still 58 cards in the deck. Maybe they've sideboarded around a little bit. Maybe not. I guess we'll see. Gamer will be going first. We'll see if mulligans have to resolve. Gamer will be keeping theirs, as will Chai. So both participants here keeping their hands. And we're off. Gamer bringing down an island to start things off. And Chai coming back with the plains. A slow start to this game, not unlike the last game, but things can ramp up pretty quickly as we saw. Bringing up the forest and tapping 2 for Jace the Sculpture. We mentioned it in the draft, but this card was pretty hyped, at least in Constructed, so we'll see if brainstorming every turn. This early in the game, it's got to be decent, but I think still later in the game that card is not quite as good as it could be. But drawing 3 cards, and then we'll put 2 back. first Brainstorm obviously much better than any of the subsequent ones. But still, Brainstorm is very strong. Chai with his second Plains, getting down Dr. Terrence Goblin, a 2-mana 3/3. And this got Inspect. So damage only to players. So this can kill Jace. But damage to players will be done in the form of Investigator, making that many clue tokens. So now back to Gamer. Drawing their card, and they know exactly what it is, and they're just going to go straight back into Brainstorming again. And they've seen 2 of these cards already, so that third card will really depend. And honestly, those 2 cards might go straight back on top. We don't know. I guess they drew one of those cards, but... So it's 2 new cards, actually. There we go. That Brainstorm is over for now. And now... let's see what they've got. Here comes that mountain. Once again, all 3 colors online pretty early into the game for Gamer. And hopefully she can make something good out of this. Tapping a red and a green. Oh, maybe not. Maybe thinking better of it, maybe having a different plan. Tapping a blue and a green. For Oko's Bizarre Adventure. Exiling Baiter of Rage, create an alt from hand. Then when you cast the creature, Oko will go back to your hand and make a 3/3. And then using the leftover red immediately to cast Baiter of Rage, I think. Yep, there's the elk. And Oko's Bizarre Adventure should go back. So that's 3 mana for a 0/2 and a 3/3. That's pretty good. And now we'll see if Dr. Terrence Goblin can keep up on Chai's side. Chai with the Swamp now. All colors online for her. Now we've got Leap of Faith, but a peasant may have moved the cart to give Terrence Goblin +2/+2 and flying until end of turn. So that'll make Terrence Goblin a 5/5 with flying. And we're killing Jace. That makes sense. But the spell was not crewed, so Terrence Goblin will also go to the graveyard, I believe. Oh no, if the spell is crewed, it dies. So because the spell wasn't crewed, Terrence Goblin will stick around. Back to ThatOneGamer's turn. Drawing that first card. Can't brainstorm anymore, but still, tremendous amount of card advantage that was. 7 cards in hand to Chai's 5. Another forest, tapping 1, 2, 3, all 4. Something big here. Legacy of Heck, a saga. So begin by drawing a card for each tapped creature Chai controls, which is just 1, but still immediately replacing itself is very good. And then next turn, something will indefinitely get +2/+2 in horsemanship, which is quite nice. Chai's turn. Putting a swamp down, also at 4 mana. Tapping a black and a white. What do we have? It's still thinking, maybe. Taking those back. Different plan, maybe. A black for Path to Graveyard. We'll kill that elk token. And we'll sacrifice the tapped land. Then Terran's Goblin swinging in for 3. This won't deal damage, but it will create 3 clue tokens. But not wanting to cast the card advantage, Baiter of Rage will go to the graveyard. And now, if Gamer had the mana, they could cast Create and Alt, but they sadly don't, and so Baiter of Rage will be staying in the graveyard. Unfortunately, Legacy of Heck not having a target for the horsemanship. Oh. No, it does have a target. It must give it to Terran's Goblin. But before that can happen, we're post-traumatic squee disordering to kill Dr. Terran's Goblin. Now tap in the last 2 mana in the main phase for Walt Disney's Frozen Head. Oh, and we've got Monster Rebirth again. So here comes Terran's Goblin back, now this time with a monstrous roll token. It'll be a 4/4 Trampler. But again, it can't do combat damage to players. But Terran's Goblin has been incredibly effective at dealing with the board on Gamer's side. Try playing another Swamp, getting them back up to 4. Swinging Terran's Goblin. Does Monster Rebirth give it haste? I don't think it should be able to attack here, but maybe I'm wrong. Tapping 2, cracking a clue to draw a card. And now, Gamer's Legacy of Heck will turn itself into a 3/3 creature. No longer is it a saga. And it can attack immediately because it has been on the board, which means Walt Disney's Frozen Head will draw a card this turn. Oh yes, try gaining 3 life for sacrificing the clue off of Terrans. Putting down another forest. The animation pieces in Hellscube 8 are extremely strong. And so getting enough of those, it can overwhelm. But I'm not sure if the deck is consistent enough, let alone with that many cards, but also with the extra red cards in there too. And we've got layer by layer back. And we're manifesting joy. Drawing a card and putting down a land, we're ramping, but also that land becomes a creature, which will immediately allow Gamer to ponder. I think Gamer realizing that she might have made a mistake. I think the Frozen Head might have... I think at one point it did draw a card when something became animated, but now it draws a card when an animated something deals combat damage. quickly bandaging it, we've come up with a solution. The rules enforcement level here is fairly lax. These are, again, as I mentioned in the other game, these are fairly new cards to everyone. They're not existing Magic cards that people have had the chance to play with a lot. These only exist in the digital format, and so it certainly is a challenge playing with these cards, and so we tend to be a lot more forgiving, a lot more lax with any potential misplays, or not misplays, but playing the cards incorrectly. Because also it's a large cube, larger than a standard set even, and so about twice the size of most standard sets, even bigger than that perhaps. So to know how each and every one of these cards works individually is quite the task, especially since these cards all try to function in weird and wacky ways and explore new design space. Playing out Paradise now from Gamer. That card doesn't seem to be loading, so I will pull up what exactly it does. Oh, that's true. Gamer did in fact play a land this turn, so they'll have to run back to Paradise, keep it for another turn, maybe later. Chai sacking a clue real quick, gaining 3 life and drawing a card. Seems like we may be in for a grindier game than the last one. But Gamer does have quite the board to contend with here. Try now, 6 cards in hand. Quite a lot of potential. Playing a swamp, tapping 4. It that doesn't know how regenerate works, when it enters, tries going to mill 3 cards. That's a 4-mana 6/1. Let's see, we've milled Swamp, we've milled Revolver, Ocelot, Pride, we milled Kill So Hard, they go straight through the earth and come back. So, a few new tools in the graveyard. Another creature that can potentially be brought back. And now back to Gamer. Keeping that black up so we can, quote, regenerate the Eldrazi, although it's not really how regenerate works. I don't know if it knows that. Gamer's turn now. Let's see what they've got now. Also, 6 cards in hand. Chai's now 4. Let's see what Gamer has. Playing out the Paradise. For those of you that don't know, Paradise enters tapped, and when it does enter, you can pay 2 life and sacrifice it to create an artifact land token in parking lot that taps for a colorless. Otherwise, it will just tap for 1 mana of any color. Looks like 3 mana for Rhystic Study, or 2 mana for Rhystic Study 2026 edition, and then 1 mana to animate it. And then whenever opponent plays a spell, Gamer can now learn unless Chai pays 2. Gamer will go to Ponder. Looking at the top 3, putting them back in any order, potentially shuffling, and then drawing a card. Looks like we are not shuffling and we are instead keeping one of those cards. Tapping 2 more. What are we running out here? Stampede, localized entirely within your kitchen. Oh, maybe not. Nope, I guess Chai will just pretend that she didn't see that. Chai now going to her turn. Untapping, drawing. Playing another Plains up to 6 mana. Tapping a Plains, and another, and a Swamp for 5 mana. Let's see what we got. Oh, paying 2 for the Rhystic. For Fiend Hunter and Sin Collector Tag Team. Paying 3 mana to exile the mountain. Going to combat. Sending in it that doesn't know how regenerate works. And Terrence Goblin. Sending both of those in. Terrence Goblin does have trample because of that monstrous roll. But the double block with Rhystic Study and Legacy of Heck will trade with Terrence Goblin, and that one gamer will take 6 from the Eldrazi that doesn't know how regenerate works. Second main phase. Anything else? We've got 1 untapped Swamp from Chai, and that'll do it. Moving back to that one gamer. Terrence Goblin has been putting in work, and you've got to think that Chai might have one other way to bring him back, or something else from that graveyard. Gamer's turn now. Oh, worth noting, Walt Disney's Frozen Head also gives trample, something I recently just remembered. Tapping 1, 2. 4 Banana Water. See, discarding Faithless Resalvaging, gaining 2 life, getting 2 rad counters, and adding red or green. Discarding Oko's Bizarre Adventure, so we're adding 2 green. Also should be gaining 4 life and getting 4 rad counters. You see those rad counters down here, these orange ones now. Playing Planet of the Apes, that will not come in tapped because the card was discarded. Tapping for 4, tapping Walt Disney's to animate Banana Water for more than, yeah, for 4. Maybe 5. Oh, and the 2 added green too to make it 7. That's a 7/7 trampler right there. And we've animated something, and so the gamer will be pondering again, looking at the top 3 cards of their library. ThatOneGamer opting to shuffle her deck, and then drawing a card. And passing the turn. Chai now having to contend with a 7/7 trampler, but does get to look at ThatOneGamer's hand. Maybe not remembering that. Drawing a card first off of a clue. Now triggering the Fiend Hunter. We've got Assassin's Creed any %, Stampede, localized entirely within your kitchen, and Grand Retcon. Yep, Chai taking the Stampede and sending that away until this goes away next turn. Chai now drawing the card for the clue. And tapping 2, 3 for Butterfly Knife. I would assume once again Ven fusing it. Yep. We're gonna pay 1 more to reconfigure it. Yep, we're gonna put it on it that doesn't know how Regenerate works, so it'll be a 7/2 flyer with food text and that draws a card when it dies. Which combo is excellent with the Regenerate, the fake Regenerate. Now swinging in for 7 in the air. Gamer doesn't have much of an option here. Takes 7. Now Chai passes the turn. Gamer now about to have to deal with these 4 rad counters. We'll see how that goes. Don't log me out, cockatrice. That would be bad. I'll click around a bit. There we go. Going to Gamer's turn now. Drawing a card. Now it's time for those rad counters, hopefully. Hopefully we see lots of lands and the not taking 4 damage. Discarding a card and tapping 7 for Dragon Age Origins. Seems we may have forgotten the rad counters, unless this is an instant. That could be on me. It is a sorcery. So yes, Chai now catching it. The rad counters need to go first. So we'll mill 4 cards. Let's see, we've milled Paradox, Island, Garrick Wildshaper Savant, and another Island. So they'll lose 2 life and 2 rad counters. And now we can cast Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age Origins creates 3 random dragons from Dragons of Tarkir as tokens. There's a nice little QR code on the back that we can scan. We'll see which dragons does does ThatOneGamer get. Pulling up the Discord. To see which command gets from, where the command pulls from, what dragons we see. And you too can be a part of the Hellscube Discord and participate in events like these and help make cards. ThatOneGamer disconnecting, potentially due to inactivity of some sort or tabbing out. I'm sure they will be back. Hopefully not an issue. Command being !Dragon Age for the Dragon Age Origins card, which for some reason isn't rendering on here. This part will probably get cut, but I might forget. If I forgot, that's kind of funny. Looks like we've run the command. We've got Enduring Scale Lord, which is a 6 mana 4/4 with flying. It says whenever one or more 1/1 counters are placed on another creature you control, you can also put a 1/1 counter on Enduring Scale Lord. We've got Cunning Breeze Dancer, another 6 mana 4/4 with flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And we've got Herd Chaser Dragon, a 3/3 with flying and trample and megamorph. And when it's turn face up, oh, the server timed out. How fun. Let me reconnect. Hell Chaser Dragon, which does something when it turns up, but unfortunate. But still, that's 2 4/4s with flying and a 3/3 with flying. Certainly could be worse. Chai doing Gamer a favor and putting those into play. And now this is quite the board that Gamer has assembled. So yes, here's the Enduring Scale Lord. Here's the Cunning Breeze Dancer. And there's that Herd Chaser Dragon. 3 fearsome dragons that all pale in comparison to a large vat of banana water. Chai's turn now. How will she deal with this? Four cards in hand. Plenty of mana to figure something out. The Fiend Hunter does sacrifice itself. So the mountain goes back to the field, but not as a 2/2, just as a mountain. And Stampede, localized entirely within your kitchen, does come back as well. But I don't know if it's needed. Chai with a massive 15 damage on the field, or against her. She does have her own 7 power Eldrazi. Tapping out 4. 5 even. For Darnation. 4 mana. Destroy each creature. The 5th mana might be to regenerate the Eldrazi. Yes, it is. And the Butterfly Knife is not currently a creature while it's attached. So that will wipe the board. Exactly the card that Chai needed here, most likely. Yes, the Butterfly Knife triggers because the Eldrazi does go to the graveyard and then comes back. Quite the turn for Chai. Now going to combat, swinging for 1 with the Butterfly Knife. ThatOneGamer down to 6. And then tapping 2 more for the Pretending Mox Bearers. And because the Eldrazi re-entered, Chai will mill 3. On end step, Gamer is making the forest a 1/1. We build a swamp, removal tutorial, and duress to impress. Gamer now up to the plate. got those rad counters again. There should only be 2 of them, I believe. Tapping for 3. What have we got? Running it back, holding on. Milling 3 cards off of those tokens. 4 cards. Should only be 2. But we milled a King Cake Rule, a very experimental synthesizer, accidentally ordering a neutron star on DoorDash, and my opponent's stock ups. That'll leave Gamer at 2 life. Not a lot to work with, but not nothing. And now tapping 3 for Assassin's Creed 4 any percent. Mill 3 cards, and you can put a star card from among them into your hand. Milling Green Tim, Detroit Becomes Human, and MC Escher's House. The only option here is Detroit Becomes Human, as it is a saga. The other 2 will go into the yard. Now tapping 2 for Detroit. Oh no, for Stampede. To kill the Eldrazi. 1 damage being exactly enough. Now swinging in for 1, it seems. Yup. Chai down to a measly 25 now. And that'll be the turn for Gamer. Can she hold on? She can use the Frozen Head to make a blocker out of nowhere that can kill the Mox Bears on the attack, or the Butter Knife. Back to Chai. Let's see if Chai can close this one out. Oh, but first Gamer casting the Detroit Becomes Human, not realizing that it was a saga. Some of these fancy art cards are a little bit hard to tell with. So she will go and grab a basic land from her library. Grabbing an island that does come in tapped. The Frozen Head still has just enough to make something a creature. Can block the Mox Bears. But does Chai have something more? Tapping 2. What are we animating here? It's got to be either Assassin's Creed or Detroit Becomes Human. It will be Detroit Becomes Human, which will block the Mox Bears. Detroit truly has become human now. Mox Bears, when it dies, will make a 1/1. And Chai will deal 1 to Gamer with the butterfly knife. Second and last clue. Tapping 3 now. We've got Heart of the Cards, a 3/3 lifelinker. And this will hopefully provide Chai with more card advantage. Though it's not exactly like she needs it. What big thing can Gamer do to come back here? Let's see what they get off of the Assassin's Creed. We've got Oko, just discovered anime. That's a big card. Force of Naturalize, another big card. And Nearseek. Can't grab that or the Force of Naturalize, but certainly can grab the Oko. Oko might just be enough to save Gamer here. Does have double affinity for animated creatures. Tapping 6 for Oko. Can soul bond it with something and then animate that with the frozen head. That'll refill Gamer's hand and gain her 3 life. That's not nothing here. That might be enough to swing this game back in Gamer's favor. Also, library's getting a little low. Gamer's 58 card library now down to 18 cards, while Chai's regular 40 card library down to 12. Gamer certainly has been drawing cards. And maybe this was part of the plan. Maybe the thought was there are so many cards that draw more cards that I can run all of these cards. I certainly would like to see the large deck get a win. Assassin's Creed now a 4/4 Trampler, in addition to being a saga. Plus, it gets +3/+3 from Oko, so it's really a 7/7. So yeah, 7/7 Trample coming at Chai. And Chai will just take it going down to 18, just not 2 under the starting life total, but still. That's gotta feel good if you're Gamer. Walt Disney's head will now trigger, and Gamer will draw 1 more card. A monumental turn for Gamer, really, keeping her in this game. Heart of Cards is naming creature. So Chai will mill 1. And then if it's a creature, it'll go into Chai's hand. It is not. It is Twink Death, which is an enchantment, as we can see in the top right. Chai gaining a life off the lifelink from the Heart of the Cards, but the Twink Death will be staying in the graveyard for now. Chai now on the back foot, you could say, with 2 1/1s and a 3/3 compared to the 4/4, the 5/7, and the 1/1, plus the frozen head. But plenty of open mana here. Let's see what she's got. Tapping 5. No, hold on. Thinking a little bit more. Try can manage to take the game here, she'll have won the match. If not, we'll go to game 3. We've got 1 planes tapped right now to equip the butterfly knife to the heart, making it a 4/4 flyer. Ooh, none of these do have reach. If Chai can buff that up 1 more, that's it. Tapping 4, 5. Fear of when this creature enters, each player returns all creature cards with mana value 3 or less from their graveyard to the battlefield, and they become 2/2 black nightmares with fear in addition to their other colors and types that are goated for the rest of the game. That brings a lot of guys out onto the battlefield for Chai, also for Gamer, including that Force of Naturalize, but again, that'll just be a 2/2. If that Force of Naturalize comes out and deals 8 to you, if you can't destroy an artifact or an enchantment, that's rough. Green Tim as a 2/2 that can fight, that's really good though. But again, all these guys have Summoning Sickness right now. We've got a lot of triggers to deal with here. Revolver Ocelot Pride. That's going to create a gun token, tap it, untap it, create another gun token, tap both gun tokens, untap both of them, and then holster them. Fiendish Hunter gets to exile something. It's going to be Oko. I think there's a few more creatures that that Gamer should have out, but I don't know how much it's going to matter. Looks like Paradox and Kegriel and Garruk and the Force of Naturalize. Got 2 gun tokens. Those get holstered. Now Heart of the Cards flying in for 4. Gamer down to 1 hit point. Oh, forgot. Fear only hits creatures with mana value 3 or less. So no, the Force of Naturalize stays. The Garruk, the Kegriel, the Paradox, those all stay. My bad on that one. Looks like we hit Joey Wheeler off of Assassin's Creed. And Joey Wheeler can summon a 1700 1150 black warrior creature with haste, but probably not on this turn unless Gamer can discard 7 cards. But boy, would that be something. These guys are goated, so they do have to attack. The Green Tim could be used to fight something. Could fight the Fiend Hunter to get Oko back. That would be huge. Gamer tapping 4 for Joey Wheeler. Comes in with 5 loyalty counters. Doesn't look like we're going to use those just yet. Library is getting dangerously low if Gamer decides to wheel. That would put her at only 3 cards. But it looks like she's doing it. Let's see what was in that hand. Aggressive Divination, Falling Goblin that crushes you, Gruul Academy, Waste Wanter. Drawing 7 cards, going down only 3 cards in library and 1 life. This is certainly down to the wire for Gamer, but she's managed to hold on this long. And Joey Wheeler should uptick by about 5, I believe, because of the discarded cards. Oh, and we are Madness casting Fallen Goblin that crushes you, and that does get to fight something. And again, Fiend Hunter would be a great target for that, because then you get Oko back. But we'll see. Maybe Revolver Ocelot Pride that has first strike and lifelink. Maybe Fear, which makes all the creatures unblockable. But no, it's going to be Terrence Goblin. Or no, it is Revolver Ocelot Pride. But yeah, I think Fear has to go actually in order for Gamer to survive this next turn. Because Fear also specifies black or artifact creatures, which means if Walt Disney's Frozen Head brings up a land, even if that land is colorless, that land is not an artifact. So it will not be good enough to block. So I think at this point you have to send Green Tim into fear of everything. And then of course you have to swing with these guys. No, just swinging in. And I guess only a couple of these guys can block. Only Fiend Hunter and Fear can block these ones that have Fear. Anything else could block Assassin's Creed, of course. Oh, we're not blocking, we're stationing. We're stationing Planet of the Apes, trying to get it to 10. I don't know if that's going to be enough. It needs 40 to destroy all non-ape and monkey permanents. But I suppose we'll see what exactly Gamer has in mind. Still having 6 untapped mana, of course. Gamer saying she shouldn't have wheeled. Tapping Walt Disney's Head. And an island. Animating Joey Wheeler to ponder. Look at those last 3 cards in your library. See what you've got. You can shuffle those, but it won't make much of a difference. And that's it for Gamer, and that's game 2, also to Chai. A fun down-to-the-wire game. Certainly quite the experience. Thanks for watching.